Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 15 of Deep Seeded Geek. Now lately I've been thinking a lot about the video game industry and how it's shaping up for the next generation. Now to be sure, I am looking forward to the next generation of consoles coming from both Sony and Microsoft, as well as the PC gaming and what that's going to be bringing to the table. As great as it is to see hardware become more consumer friendly and give us more bang for our buck, it really doesn't make any kind of difference unless there's software that can kind of use it to its fullest potential. And that got me debating with the little good and evil kind of gamer geek inside my head. The main argument I was having with myself was this: what makes a good game? No one can deny that in this last generation alone, we have seen stunning advancements in game graphics. At the end of the PlayStation 2's life cycle, we saw games like God of War 2, Final Fantasy 12, and one of my personal favorites, Okami, show us what a beautiful video game can actually be like. Then the PlayStation 3 came along, and in the same year as those three games, Heavenly Sword was released, and it exceeded everyone's expectations for what was possible with gaming graphics on a home console. But since consoles became HD, and tens of millions of dollars became the norm for a video game's budget, there's been a sort of stagnation in gaming that only at the end of this console generation do we actually notice it. We've all drooled over the video, but we seem to have forgotten the game. How has Halo as a game changed over its 10 years of existence, aside from prettier graphics and its narrative? Call of Duty has become an annual juggernaut of first-person shooter greatness. But aside from different locations and rule sets, how has the game truly changed? And the same could be said for some undeniably great games out there. Games such as Uncharted, Torchlight 2, and The Walking Dead are all the same action-adventure, dungeon crawlers, and point-and-click adventure games that we've all come to know and love since their very inception of the genre. So where is that innovation that pushes this medium forward? One could argue that the birth of the MMO is an innovation. But seeing as how World of Warcraft is almost 10 years old, and every other MMO on the market is trying to be as good as, but not really surpassing that kind of game type, it begs the question again: where's the next step forward? This question can be applied to almost all of our favorite games that are on the market right now, as well as a lot of games that are seemingly coming down the pipeline in the next couple of years. But I believe there is a sliver of hope for new emerging ideas. So this is how I see the future of game development in my little head here. So feel free to agree or disagree with me as you see fit. I personally believe that indie games will be the source for how the big budget games are going to change the landscape of gaming. Now I know that sounds like me calling out the big boys and saying that they're just stealing the ideas from the little guys. But let's be honest, you could trace a line back through every game leading down to Pong. Everyone builds on top of the ideas that came before them. It's the way it's been for almost every medium that's out there. So let me break down the way it works in my little world here. So let's say an indie developer wants to make a game. Now they wish they had the big budget dollars like the boys over at Crazy, Awesome, Huge, not overcompensating in any kind of way Industries does, but unfortunately they don't have that kind of cash in the bank. So how do they make a game that stands out in a crowd with the big boys? Well, if you can't make a game look like the face-melting kind of next gen, you can damn well make sure it's gonna play like the next gen. So along comes a big budget developer with a lot of money in the bank, and he's thinking he's gonna drop some Benjamins on a little title, and try and make it the next big thing. When all of a sudden, they see this little indie developer and their game, it's got this great little gameplay mechanic going on. And they decide to incorporate that gameplay into their brand new original idea with Space Marines, and zombies, and multiplayer, and a script written by Michael Bay. And there you go, the most innovative game of the year, thanks to a little indie developer's game that may or may not get the recognition that it so very much deserves for pushing the medium forward. Now I know that's a very bleak way of looking at it, and truth be told, I was kind of playing it up a little bit. We all know game developers wouldn't touch a script by Michael Bay. And I like to believe that game developers have a great working relationship and that they share their ideas with one another. I know I've heard a story about how Cliffy B was talking to the people over at Naughty Dog and kind of giving them pointers how to improve their multiplayer. And I know for a fact that Naughty Dog has gone on record as saying that they actually went over to that game company, the boys who made Journey, and talked to them about how they use their sand physics in their game so they could try and apply that to Uncharted 3. Everyone out there seems to have the same desire to make the best games possible. And if it sounds like I'm picking on the big boys of the industry and saying that they're just bullies with no creative input, keep this in mind. where I see the indie games pushing the envelope for gameplay. Without the big developers pushing the game engines harder and harder every year, the indie boys would go stagnant as well. With every new version of the Unreal or Frostbite engines, it makes it that much more accessible and attainable to the little indie developers. So today, we may see games running on the very popular Steam engine from Valve, but in the next couple of years, you may see the same developers working within the Cry engine. So now I'm gonna ask, where do you guys see the game innovation happening in past, present, or future? Do you feel this creative slump that's been kind of echoed over the last year or so? Or do you see innovation where others may not? And after saying that, I sound like Yoda. Just a little bit. And with that, we're bringing this episode to a close. So I want to say thank you very much for watching Deep Seeded Geek. I appreciate it every single day. Every time I see a comment out there, it makes my day. So thank you very much. I'm at, I think, 64 subscribers right now, and we're so close to 100. It's just nail biting right now. So to help me along with that, you can like this video if you dig this kind of content, share with your friends and family, please leave a comment about this discussion, and as always, subscribe up there, and we will see you next time on Deep Seeded Geek. Take care.